Okay, we're back. So I've been working on this for a little while. I've covered it with pink wool. I didn't have quite as much as I wanted back here, but that's okay. I'm still happy with him. He's got his little nose here. And so this is where, before I do anything else, I'm just gonna do this little test here. So I've got my tea light. When you get these new, there's this little plastic tab, a clear plastic tab. You have to actually pull that out. So you don't open up the tea light, you just yank that tab out and then it will turn on. Some people buy them and they think they're broken, but you just have to pull that little tab out and then use a little switch on the back. But what I'm doing here actually is I'm just testing to see that mine actually fits over my tea light. So it does, but it kind of springs back up again. So how can I make it so that it doesn't like keep, slowly coming up again? I just need to go around the inside of my hole here. So I can stretch it out a little bit, but I don't want to pull it apart, obviously. But I'm going to take my burgundy needle and I'm going to felt down the inside just a little bit more in there, like right around, this is awkward for me, but you can see, right around the inside there, so that it widens that hole. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. And you can go a little further in as well to make sure that it's pretty open in there. Okay, that's a little bit better, but excuse me, it's not quite where I want it. So actually there's another kind of needle that I use that's really handy for situations like this. You can still use your burgundy needle if you don't have one, but I like this yellow needle because it really takes down any big lumps that are in my way. It sinks in the fibers as well if you're trying to create more features that are sunken rather than building them out from the project. So yeah, but I'm just doing what I was doing before with the burgundy needle, just with this yellow needle. But it works very, very well at this stage in the project when you want to really make sure that's hollowed out in there and that your tea light fits. So let's see one more time. There we go. That's what we want. So it's sitting right on top, and you can kind of see how that flicker of light, that's the tea light shining through the wall. So it's, yeah. So I'm happy with my unicorn. And so this is where, I haven't really done a lot more to these eyes. They're just two blobs of black wool that I put on there. I might clean them up a little bit, but I actually like them this way. So I'm just going to leave them like that. And so this is the stage where we can add the mane and like the front mane, the bangs, the fringe, and then also the side mane, this part here. So this and this. And so this is where you can get really creative. You can take different sections of color and make a rainbow mane. It's really fun. Or what we're going to do today, just to keep it simple, is we're just going to use white merino roving. So I'm just going to take a piece. And you might need a little bit of help with this part, but I'm just pulling it apart very gently. And one more time. And you can see how, what the length of this is. It's not very long. But there's a little bit of a trick to it. So I'm just going to keep pulling until It's just a little bit longer than the mane that I want. So about like this. And then I'm actually going to fold it over my finger like this. And I'm just going to hold it up here and see if I like that or not. So I'm going to just touch that and see. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to move my unicorn over a little bit. And so this end is going to be the loose end that you see over here, and this end is going to be like tucked underneath. So I'm going to take my burgundy needle and I'm going to felt across my mane like this a few times. And this line that I'm making in the wool is going to be the line that I use to attach the mane to my unicorn. So I'm going to gently pull it up so you can see it's got a little line in there. So I'm going to fold that line again onto the inside. I'm going to take my unicorn and I'm going to go from, you know, just the top in between the ears and down like that. So there, it's a little difficult to see, but there's the line that I felted ahead of time. So I'm going to use that to guide me. I'm going to actually, I think I'm going to use my orange needle here. So I'm going to put my project down and I'm going to follow that line and felt down those like into a mane. And then, so I've got a long side and a short side. Now I'm just going to fold it over top of the shorter side. And that gives it like a little bit of height, a little bit of a curve. And when I fold it over, it hides that line, that seam, and it just kind of thickens up the mane. So I'm just attaching it in that one place. That's it. You can, you know, if you wanted to, you could really felt it down and make it, you know, solid onto the project, but I just like to leave mine like kind of loose like this. And this part starts to felt itself together actually. It'll eventually become one thing. Yeah, so that's how we attach the mane there, and then we want to give him, you know, his top part here. So you don't need a lot for that. So I'm just pulling it apart a little bit and laying that together. And I'm just going to fold the end under just a little bit. And I'm going to go right up to where the other part of the mane ends. Take my orange needle and poke right there in between the ears. And then do the same thing. Fold it forward like that. And there might be like a little space in there, so you can just bring those fibers together and just felt it together at the top. And then you can also go along this, you know, this part of the mane here. You can felt it a little bit, like just really close to the line if you want to make sure it's really on there. And if you're not happy, like if you think it should be smoother, you know, you can poke right in there and it will kind of calm down the wool a little bit, make it lay a bit flatter. Okay, so now he's got his little bangs, and you can make them shorter if you want, but I kind of like the long banged look. And so now we've got our mane attached. Now the final stage is the unicorn horn. So we've got ours that we made at the beginning of the video, and really you don't actually even need glue, but I just take a tiny amount of this glue and I just put a little, I don't think you can even see what I'm doing here. I just take a little, I just make like a drop, hardly any, and I dip the end of the horn in the glue, and it's just a tiny little blob of glue on there. And the thing that you might want to do before you do this, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself, is take a toothpick and just poke it in there. It'll just, you can poke it right into the forehead and just see, okay, is that where I want my horn? Is that where I want my unicorn's horn to be, right? Is that where it belongs, or does it need to be more centered? So pull your hair back a little bit and just see if you want it lower or higher, or where you want it to go. And then take your piece with the glue and just slide it straight in there, and then just leave it. And so this glue is awesome for fiber art and crafting. You know, it's super adhesive. It dries really quickly. The one thing that it does do is it dries clear, but it dries a little bit shiny. So you really don't want to use too much of it. You just need a tiny amount, because otherwise you might get like a little rim of shiny glue around the outside of your horn. You don't want that. Okay, so here we have our unicorn. And you can see that the difference between this one and this one is actually put a layer of lighter, you know, this was my first one. I wasn't sure if I liked the darker pink. And so I put a layer of light pink over top. And really, you can do whatever you want. You can make your unicorn any color. They look great. Again, you know what I was saying about making the rainbow mane and stuff like that. So just get really creative and have fun. And I just want to say one more time, happy birthday to Rowan and to everyone at her birthday party. And I hope that I'll get a chance to felt with you someday, with all of you. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep making these projects and filming these videos. And yeah, I hope to see you again. Thank you so much.